on plant-based, and anything good comes out of this should definitely look into the market as such globally. So another company, I don't know if you heard of hydrogenotrops, group of organisms which can utilize hydrogen and then they can grow. Kind of NASA started it because in space you can only exhale, and maybe under some controlled condition you get oxygen and you exhale CO2. And if there is a way in which you can transform this CO2 into the food, then it closes the entire loop and it becomes a more sustainable way. So there are certain microbes which come under the domain of hydrogenotrops, which can in fact utilize your hydrogen and produce some kind of food around it. And that is the basis of air protein, which is currently being done. So many things are happening in reference to air, the fungi, the algae, the cell base, the plant, and all things. The revolution has just started. Basically, last 5 years, it's been such a good thing for everybody. So this is something which I think you guys must be knowing, everybody of you. So one of the ways in which we can produce plant-based meat is through high moisture extrusion or kind of low moisture extrusion in a larger scale. And there is another technology which we call it as a shear cell technology, where we can produce, let's say, 5 to 7 kgs of bigger meat mass. And that is one of the technology which is even currently being explored by many people to create a bigger muscle group, which otherwise is still difficult at normal level. So this is something also we should think about if in terms of so this is just one of the innovation. But if I give you examples of innovation happening around the technology, it is in terms of instruments and equipment, there are plenty and it would take many hours for me to explain to you. But there are many things happening, and you can look into it, you can find out some of your sweet spot and you can start working on it. Good. And why we say is this industry rise is because the demand of red is the trend. And if we go into the trajectory of growth into 2050, the demand of all the meat-based product will grow. The beef, the mutton, the pork, poultry, and eggs. Demand will grow. People would still like to eat meat. As such, they will never stop eating meat. So that's where these innovation in cell-based meat and the innovation in plant-based meat will cover the market of all the blue areas. Let's say, for example, the beef market in 2050 will go to 106 million tons. So out of this, even if 20-30% comes from plant-based, it's a big market. And you can see the humongous job opportunities around it, humongous entrepreneurship development around it. So the horizon is quite big, and that is why we say that people will never stop eating meat. We'll have to disrupt the technologies in which they change the way they eat their meat. And so we meet both the things. We preserve the land, we make it more sustainable, yet the consumer get the same taste and whatever they are looking at meat. So it's kind of win-win situation for both the planet and for the people residing on this planet. So nothing but the solution is to use technology to outcompete factory farming with superior product. So as a company, we did launch something. So our brand is Blue Tribe. So blue is nothing but if you know Earth as a blue ocean or blue planet, and tribe is a community. So the brand emphasis on the tribe which works in developing product or concept which are good to the planet. So as our first launch, which happened on 26th of October, we did launch this plant-based nuggets, and we called it specifically plant-based chicken nuggets, which is currently available in Mumbai, Delhi, and Bangalore. You guys can try it. We targeted this product only for non-vegetarians. or hard chicken eaters rather than vegetarians. And our goal pitch was that this would taste, feel, cook, smell exactly like what actual chicken is. And so far, it has been a good success story for us. Few of the global brands like Taj Hotels and Four Seasons already have this product with our brand name. So we are just trying to develop innovation around plant-based meat as our first concept, uh, only targeting non-vegetarian or flexitarian. Kind of all those who love their meat but doesn't want to eat, or all those who love their meat can have a better alternative. So this is one of the ways in which we are trying to do some kind of business uh, under the brand name of Blue Tribe. You can visit www.bluetribefoods.com, and if you happen to be in Delhi, Mumbai, or Bangalore, you can let us know your feedback after eating the product. And this is just one side of the story, but we are also doing some kind of fundamental work in space of protein extraction and other fundamental work in the space of fermentation. So this is something we just started off, and we're just working around a few of our concepts, and we are trying to merge biotechnology with food technology to create something which would be a revolutionary product, which meets the criteria of disruption and transformation in due course of time. So that is all we are trying to do. And but the other problem globally, I just wanted to address, this is the last slide. Do we invest much in R&D? I don't think, as compared to solar, wind, biomass, biofuel, hydro, marine, geothermal, we hardly spend. So now this revolution has brought huge investment in this R&D, and the bubble is on the day-to-day basis growing. And if I happen to show you the same slide after, let's say, a year, the bubble for the R&D invested in new protein sector would be bigger than geothermal, or maybe even bigger than marine. And that is when the actual change people will about to see the witness. And in the end, I think Anandi Bhavanti Bhutani is something which Mishra ji coined, and we believe in it. And the last line would be: it is not enough to be have a continuous improvement. We need disruption. Continuous improvement is the fundamental, but we need disruption. The way we do the things, even if we do the disruption, it is not enough. We need transformation. So that is in whole. I would like to accumulate my presentation, and thank you for the patient hearing. And I would be open for any kind of questions around it.
Thank you, sir. Such an insightful presentation. Like some of the few of the companies we have never heard of, and some of the who are known for some different product, and the brand diversification was, especially IKEA. I really didn't know that IKEA is investing in plant-based meats and everything. I think the forum is open for questions. So whoever have questions, they can raise their questions. We'll take a few questions.
Excellent presentation, Navneet.
Yeah, but I think it just part of whatever you learned with FTCL, sir, while we were with
Yeah,
you.
that's right.
So
Big insight. Think it is
we
right.
presented many presentations, so it was just kind of continuous improvement.
That's
So
it.
yes, somebody asked about regulation. Yes, so there is a big fight among dairy industry and meat industry, the actual dairy and meat, and they don't want the non-dairy sector or non-meat industry to put up the name of meat. Say, for example, if you go into a website, if you see a product, it says plant-based chicken nuggets. We use the chicken word as such. So yes, the regulations are in draft phase, and the use of the word chicken or meat in the plant-based is still it's in ambiguity. And but eventually, once the market grows, we'll win the war, and this would be a normal trend to use. But currently, yes, because they are taking some kind of market share. So dairy industry is quite huge in India. So if anybody using non-dairy milk as a word, and it takes away the market share enough, there is a big backlash. So regulatory wise, yes, there are many hurdles which will eventually close once once the revolution comes to a mass movement, and then people have to oblige.
Indira, you can directly ask the question. I would.
Hello, Navneet sir.
Yes, hello.
Sir, actually, when you explained this transformative business and disruptive business, and you gave an example of 3D printing in disruptive business, I couldn't follow it properly. So, kindly explain this disruptive business little bit, because transformative I understood, but disruptive is a bit confusing for me.
So anything you do, you need to continuously improve, right? So you do the same thing. Let's say you try to do your research and you try to continuously improve on it. Then one day it comes ki you try to do the same thing in a different way. So that, say for example, you are doing some experiments and you try to devise a new method in which you can reduce your experiment yet get the same result. So that becomes a disruption. There is, you're already doing the same thing but in a different way. But that disruption should bring transformation at a larger cost. So that is what I mean to say. So any idea start with disruption, and to propagate it in a bigger way, it should be more transformative. One idea should go into another field. Let's say fungi application going into the food can also go into the packaging industry. So that is more of a global idea of disruption and transformation. Of course, these words were coined way back by some MIT professors, and if you read the book of innovation and disruption, you will get more and more example of it. Xerox could be one of an example, but it's just a way in which the idea should be approached.
So, do you want to say that kind means a divergence of the same kind of a product is kind of a disruptive experiment or disruptive
Yeah,
research?
it could be disruptive. Yes, definitely. You when a kind of example 3D printing could be a disruptive one. You might be designing the same complex structure using the conventional molding thing, but you can design the same thing using 3D printing. So you did the same thing, but through a different route, and which is non-existent so far. So which is quite an disruptive one, kind of. But if you make it such a costly thing, then it won't be transformed into something else. So it has to always have that transformation into the picture, so that a larger cause could be justified for the disruption you brought in.
Okay, sir. Okay. Thanks a lot.
Sir, there is one more question from Siddharth. Actually, he is hosting that YouTube live session, so he posted that question. Siddharth, can you ask or shall I ask on your behalf? Sir, vitamin B12 is not present in plant-based food, so how it is being fortified, like put given in milk? Do they fortify it for some processes or? Okay.
Yeah, there is still a gap. That's what I say. There's still a gap. There are still added through route of maybe fortification indirectly using the active compound. But yes, there is a bigger. I think there are few companies working in this area. I don't remember right now, but I'll share you with the entire details of some vitamins, which are being made in lab and then they are added into the plant base. There is some story behind it. I'll share you. Can you share me your email ID? I can share you some insights around it.
Sir, I have one question, sir. For the plant-based protein, especially the non-conventional, like the fungal protein and all, do they have an extra step of toxicology test and everything? Like, what are the apart, like how we process for meat products? We check for antibiotics or some hormonal traces of hormones or traces of added chemicals. For the plant-based proteins, what are the extra steps, or what are the including the toxicology or various steps? What are the
So generally,
extra steps you perform while you put the product in the market?
so if you go to the example of Better Meat Company, or there are many companies in the area of Mycotech, so whatever nutrient they are doing, so it is a very, So if you read the process of fermentation, so there are the microbes and which grow on your nutrient, right? So if the nutrient classification is known, it's very simple nutrients like sugar, acid, bases, right? And under utilizing those nutrients, if the microorganisms grow, so invariably the toxicologically whatever is being originated from animal doesn't come into through this route. It's more of a more clean protein as such. And fundamentally, there is a company in US. If you want to browse it, it's a fantastic company by the name Mycotechnology. So Mycotechnology, what it does, the mushroom basically it grows into different phases, right? There is a mycelium part also of it, which is called as the root of a mushroom. And so mushroom has a growth phase, just like the butterfly has, the insect, the larva, the pupa, and then adult. So mushroom has a growth phase. In one of the growth phase, which is the mycelium phase, there is a secretion of large amount of enzymes. So in that, the company, what it does during that phase, the enzyme or the root part reacts with the pea and rice protein, the actual pea and rice protein, and it further breaks it down to make it more kind of an bio accessible to the humans, and that's how they make the products out of it. And it's one of the fantastic way in which you use the mushroom part of the plant, and then they produce a product out of it, and that's how they are working on it. So of course the microtoxicological is better controlled because we know everything in and around, and it goes into the fermentation is always a controlled reaction in which we know what is going in and what is going out. So the toxological part is something which is better controlled in this aspect. Something like how the alcohol is grown in the vat. So if you physically see the process, still the same. In yeast, if you genetically decode how the heme is made in the sunflower roots, and the same genetic code is applied to the yeast, and then it propagates. That's the same way in which you can do that, and it can go into mass scale as well.
Thank you, sir.
Good evening, sir.
Any more questions?
Hello.
Yes.
My name is Dushyant Kumar, sir. So my doubt is, so whatever the product, plant-based product, is a mimic of the animal counterpart, like chicken, plant-based chicken. Is it possible to do an egg, which looks like egg but tastes like a chicken? Is it possible, sir?
Which looks like a
Which looks like an egg, but it tastes like a chicken. Is it possible, sir?
but why would you lose that? Why would you want to
No, sir.
look like an egg? I could not get your query.
Whatever the product is, whatever the product we are producing is a mimic of the original plant animal product. Is it possible to produce a new product, not at all there in plant or animal combined? Is it possible to produce such product?
Frankly speaking, I don't have any